computer. Okay, we're recording on this computer. We are picking up tonight. We covered virtual background, was the last thing we covered last night. So we'll start off with the identify guest participants in the meeting webinar, and the next one, the auto answer group in chat. You do not have to worry about those unless you have a business account that you are setting up groups in, because that's the only place it counts. The administrator can set up groups, and you can turn this on and off so that if somebody, like if your domain is yourdomain.com and you invite a guest in from readyweb.com, they will be shown to members of your group as an outside guest. They won't see that notification themselves, but everybody in your group will know it. And the auto answer group in chat, that means that if the outside guests ask a question, their questions will go to the top of the thing to be answered first before your in-group is answered, as near as I understand it. I don't have the webinar. I haven't played with it that much. The next peer-to-peer connection while only 2 people are in a meeting. I vaguely know what a peer-to-peer network is. It short-circuits a lot of things. You get a lot better throughput if you have a peer-to-peer connection, but it's only for one-on-one. So if you've got marginal internet, you want to talk to somebody, rather than doing it in a group, you may want to just do a one-on-one. You may stand a better chance of having the whole thing go like you want it to go. The next one, using HTML format for Outlook plugin. I don't use Outlook. I have no idea what that is or why you would. I mean, I'm using Gmail. I want all mine coming in straight text. I don't allow my email to come through with HTML. But that's just a personal preference because I'm so old and remember email when you couldn't even use HTML in. That's strictly a personal choice. Share dual cameras. If you've got multiple cameras attached to your computer, you want to turn that on. That way you can aim one left and one right and switch between them. Like if you're showing you and then you've got a painting that you're showing, you can switch between them. If you've got the computer close enough, you can switch to show the far scene of you actually painting your camera or a close-up of it. This CP marking, I have no earthly idea what that means. But I figure it can't be too important since it's not available except as an account setting to control multiple licenses. Next to allowing stereo or your original sound, whichever you prefer, that's also a personal setting. Screen sharing, you'll note, is on by default on all 3. Attention tracking is off by all 3, but can be turned on. And that's the little nonverbal thing that if you go to the participants thing and they go off the main Zoom window and off of it for 30 seconds, it'll show that little clock beside their name in the participants list. So you can do a poll or do something to call them back from whatever they're doing. Although they may be paying attention and actually, be doing notes on the thing. The waiting room, off or on, your choice. If you turn waiting room on, you cannot have join before host on at the same time. They are mutually exclusive. And they've just had an update that the waiting room, you can now customize it. You get to have a header, your logo, and a description, where before it was, please wait, the host will seek you shortly, and that was it for everybody. Now at least you can do a bit of branding on it. Show a join from your browser link. That is specifically for those who work in organizations that do not allow them to download software to their computers. You can join through a browser link, but it is of limited function. Matt was, not Matt, Vincent was talking about it today. You can share content. No, you can watch shared content if you join from a browser link, but you cannot share content yourself. It's little things like that that they restrict you. And I haven't actually tried that yet, had a chance to test that yet, so I don't know. I might do that this weekend if I get a chance. Allow live streaming the meetings. Basic, you can't do it on the, well, no, I take that back. Yeah, on meetings, you can only stream to Workspace on Facebook. If you've got the webinar, you can actually stream to YouTube or stream to Facebook itself. You have to get your stream URL and all, but if you're into live streaming, you know what those are. And when you turn that on, as you go through setting up your meeting, it gives you 3 input boxes to fill out. It's, you know, I don't do that much streaming. I tried to trick it by getting my YouTube stuff and treating YouTube as a custom streaming service. It wouldn't take it. They apparently know what the streaming services are, or YouTube blocks something coming in using YouTube from the Zoom meeting. But I tried to make it work, but it just wouldn't. And under that, you can see Workplace by Facebook, custom live streaming, and then the streaming. Those are the boxes that open up when you turn that on or off. Email notifications when a cloud recording is available. Well, the basic can record to the cloud, so you don't have to worry about that. The other two, you can turn them on, and it's great because you don't have to wait for it to render. You just do it if you're recording to the cloud and go about your business. You can keep the meeting going or not keep the meeting going. And whenever it finishes rendering the thing, it just sends you, it says your cloud recording is ready. And then you can go over to your Zoom account, see it, download it, edit it, put it up on YouTube or whatever you want. The next one, email notification when attendees join the meeting before the host. That is on by default, and I think it's a very good thing. And when the meeting is canceled, that's on by default. This other, when an alternative host is set or removed, it's not available in Basic, Pro, and the account settings. It's on, but actually, I think it's off by default, and I've got mine set to on. The blur snapshot I've never used, so I don't know exactly what it does. Your email invitations, you have a choice of 8 different languages you can send it out in. And I think they just added Russian to it, if I'm not mistaken. The scheduling privilege, that is allowing, like if I've got a pro account and it's given to me by buying on a business license, I can say, assign Ross to allow her to schedule meetings on my behalf. And you would assign it there, and then Ross says you can schedule for, and my name would go in there. I don't know any of us that would be doing that, have an account big enough to use it. Local recording is on by default. Cloud recording is available if you've got a pro account or higher. And if you're doing cloud recording, you've got a world of choices. You can record the active speaker. You can record the active speaker and the gallery view. You record only an audio file. And you can save the chat text from the meeting. Of course, now you can save the chat even if you're not recorded. Even if we weren't recording this, somebody enters something in the chat, you go down, you hit that chat button, more on the side, you click Save Chat, and it will create a folder with a text file in it on your, you don't have to be recording, and it does it on your machine. It does not put it up in a folder on their thing. You can click on it right away. It's available once you save it. You don't even have to wait for the meeting to end to see it. So you could record, you could save several parts of the chat if you wanted to. These are the advanced cloud recording settings. Adding a timestamp to the recording. It's great, but it covers up the left lower corner is one thing. You can't move it. That's just where it goes. So if you've got anything in your left lower corner, like text or something, it's going to cover that up. The second thing is it does not take into account daylight saving time. It stays at standard time all the way around. So if I'm recording at 4, like here in April, if the timestamp's going to show 3. So you can take that, if you want to. I used to put timestamps on mine until I found out that once daylight saving time kicked in, they were an hour off. And there I'd be in the recording saying, this is being recorded in Hermitage at 4 p.m. and the timestamp is showing 3 p.m. That was just confusing people. Record thumbnails when sharing. You can turn that on or off. If you turn it off when you're recording and, the little thumbnail in the corner, you don't get it. It's just the full screen share, like doing a voiceover, mainly. That's what it's like. Optimize the recording for third-party video editors. I have no idea what that does, what optimization includes or how difficult it is, but since I don't do that much video editing, I haven't played with it. Automatic recording, you can turn on or off. The problem with automatic recording is as soon as if you set it, as soon as your meeting starts, it starts recording, whether you're ready to record or not. I would suggest not turning that on and just click the record button when you're ready to record. Otherwise, like if you're in the green room and forget and this thing's recording, you can find yourself in an embarrassing situation sometimes. Cloud recording downloads, you have options. You can fix it so only the host can download cloud recordings. Users on my account can access cloud recordings. Auto delete your recordings after X number of days, and that's a great feature because you only get 1 gigabyte of cloud storage. After that, you have to start removing something to make room for more. And it's hard to say exactly how much space a recording takes because it depends on how much screen sharing you're doing, whether you're showing videos inside the thing or what. If you figure an average of 200 megabytes per recording, that's only 5 recordings and you've used up your thing. So unless you want them to be up there all the time, you might consider deleting them after 7 days or 14 days, or leave them on Zoom if you've got a private community for so long, and then a week or 2 weeks later transferring them to YouTube and making them public at that point. That way you don't run into the chance of running out of cloud storage over on your Zoom cloud. What's the next one? Push notification to subscription URL when a cloud recording. What is that? Did I move? I didn't move all of it. Oh, I'm trying to move the wrong thing. That's what's happening. I want to move this. What does that say? When a cloud recording what? I think when a cloud recording is finished is what it says. And that is controlled. Push notification. I don't know what that means, actually. Does anybody have any idea or suggestion? Because I don't. Multiple audio notifications of recorded meeting. I have no idea what that does. I find it interesting, though, that it's on in the basic and off in the other two. And audio notifications. I'll have to find out what that is. Third-party audio, that is the premium audio package that they have, or if you've got some other outside phone system that you're connecting this thing to. So international numbers, you get your choice of which international numbers you can choose by country. It's basically set to the USA right now, but they have, I think, 90-something countries that they had provide links to, toll calls within the country. And then if you get their premium package, you can get, I think, an additional 60 countries or so. Basically, that's it. And I wish I could get that up. Now, if anybody wants to see, you can go over to the Zoom website to your meeting settings and compare this to what you've got. This lists everything. On the meeting settings, like I've got Carl in here, but I can't get to his meeting settings right now. But his side menu over there only shows what's in the free account because he doesn't have a paid account. So most of this stuff does not show up in his meeting settings. When you click on meeting settings, what you see in that left-hand menu is going to depend completely on what type of account you have. But the stuff that is shown in blue here are the only ones, those are the default settings for those. Red, I can get rid of that because I just marked that as where I stopped last time. So there are like, I think, 9 things that are on by default. Telephone, computer, your chat, and private chat, which you may want to turn on or off depending on what kind of webinar or Zoom meeting you're running. Feedback to Zoom is on. Annotation, whiteboard, and remote control is on. And screen sharing is on. And the 2 email notifications. And local recording. Those are the default on things out of the whole, what did it say? 92 different settings. Now, I know I ran through this in a hurry. If anybody wants a more detailed explanation of anything, just yell, and I'll try my best to provide it.
It does appear that the things that are on or set by default are definitely the basics that anybody would use.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is more customization, it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, and it really depends on what your use case is, exactly which one of those you might want, because a good case, even though private chat is on, you may not want to allow that. You may not want your guests chit-chatting among themselves and not paying attention to your presentation. Yeah. No. But yeah, I expected it to take longer than that because there's a bunch of stuff here that's also applicable to webinars. Some of it is, some of it isn't. I've spent half a day trying to find a list of what is exclusive to meetings and what is exclusive to webinars. Nowhere on the Zoom website can I find that. And I even asked in 2 of the different Zoom things I attended today, I asked if there was such a thing. And one person didn't know, one person said, let me check. I went over to this website, to their help thing, asked about it. They gave me a link to a document that is not actually on their support page. And it talks about general stuff, but it doesn't go into like breakout rooms are only in meetings. Templates are only available in webinars, so I'm going, once I get the webinar thing, I'll have to go through the whole thing again and see what's available in there and fit those into this. But this is going to continue to be a living document. And every time I do a major update to it, I'll let everybody know so they can see what's going on. It's a shame. I don't know what happened tonight. I know I got notifications. Several people wrote and said, they're sorry, but they couldn't make it tonight. We had a good crowd last night. Of course, they'll have the recording to go by, and they can ask me any questions. And we'll be doing Thursday, since we've gone over basically all of this. Thursday will be a Q&A to go in depth if anybody's got any questions about anything concerning Zoom. It's going to be sort of like Matt's monthly Ask Me Anything. Speaking of which, that comes up tomorrow at 4:30. If there's one Zoom thing you want to attend, it's at 4:30 Central Time. It's Ask Me Anything. If you go over to the Zoom site and check the live training page, it's the last one on the page. You can register for it. But he doesn't do any demos or anything. It's just like this. He opens it up and people just start asking questions. It's really a fun thing to go to. Ross, you look like you've got a question.
How do I unmute myself?
I have unmuted. You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got quite a lot of the previous things you've done, Andrew, to go through myself before I'm probably going to ask questions, but I'll still try and be here anyway for the Thursday, the Friday. Yeah, the one that you're doing next.
Okay. Yeah. You're more than welcome. Anything, just something pops into your head, go ahead and ask,
Yeah, well, I did write in the chat just to see if it still worked here.
Yeah.
As far as that peer-to-peer one, that's not available for the basic, I presume, that one-on-one client thing.
Where was it? It was up here somewhere.
I think it's got NA, so you did say something about it.
Peer-to-peer only while two people are. Yeah, in the free version, it's not. You have to have the paid version to have that.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm looking at most of my work, maybe as that peer-to-peer, well, as the one-to-one, like a client meeting that you're doing a session, for instance, if it's hypno or whatnot.
What is exactly the difference between the peer-to-peer and just two of us jumping onto a Zoom?
Okay, if that's enabled, you jump into a Zoom, but Zoom makes a peer-to-peer connection for you. So it doesn't run around a lot of networks. It's basically almost like a direct line between their computer and yours.
Okay.
It's not necessarily any more secure or anything, I wouldn't think. It's just
it's not more secure. It's a steadier connection.
Sure. Okay.
So that's actually using less resources, like as far as your own computer goes. Does that use less resources because it's not hacking around everywhere else looking for what your settings are and stuff?
Yeah, because apparently it's not consuming as much. I don't know whether it's not consuming as much computer resources or whether they scale down the video. And by scale down, I mean, instead of doing 360, they may do 240 resolution or something. Yeah, it's something that you can't see by your eye, but it does lessen the resources that you're having to use. And that's what makes it better, according to what I understand. I may be completely wrong. But I know, I'm trying to think of the other service. There was another service that just recently, if you do one-to-one connections, they do a peer-to-peer network too. In other words, it's not a distributed thing. It's like, it doesn't go from you to a hub and then to somebody else. It's like, instead of an octopus with a hub in the center and 8 computers coming out from it, this is like 8 computers in a circle. So and you're the next one right to it, and then they move around and connect, from what I understand.
Okay.
They find the most direct path between the 2 computers and lock on that is the easiest way to say it, I think. But a lot of that tech stuff is way over my head. Tom, did you say something? Yeah, you're muted.
Muted.
I think not on Zoom. I think it's on your.
Oh, plugged in properly.
Okay. Now, when you fooled with your switch down there, we heard a scratchy sound. Okay, it's scratching again.
plug.
Yeah. Okay.
Ross, are you aware that Andrew has a calendar of all of the Zoom events? Have you seen that from user to user?
I've looked at it, but I haven't referred to it fully yet. Still trying to get through some other stuff at the moment,
Sure. I just thought
which it all takes time.
let you
Too
know that
much.
it is available.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's updated every week. I only put,
Oh, yeah.
so it doesn't, you don't get a whole bunch of, now you will get, when I go to update it, you do get a bunch of notifications, but that's all for because they hold something like 25 events a week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't want to do a whole month and flood people, all of a sudden they get hit with 150 notifications.
Yeah.
Well, and that's not on your end, Andrew. That was on my end. It's how you set those notifications up once you share that calendar.
Mm.
So it's
Okay. Yeah. Don't think I've got too many questions myself now.
Well, Carl and Roy aren't going to have any.
No. I always wonder why they're always muted.
Yeah.
Finally getting the hang of how you're doing it, Andrew.
Yeah. Well, I have to do that in order to test a lot of this stuff because you've got to have more than 3 people in and everything. Okay.
So I might have to create one more Gmail address to do my own testing with how I'm setting my stuff up because I've still got the Rosbets one going.
Yeah, Tom, I think it's your headset because when you were messing with your thing, it would sound scratchy, but we could hear clicks like it was muting and unmuting. So
what happens if he unplugs the headset altogether and just uses the computer mic?
I don't know how that. Yeah, wonder what that would work like.
Well, half the time I don't need these. Oh, well, except for the fact I do at the moment because it's plugged in.
Yeah.
Tom did leave a message. He said he thought that peer-to-peer gives you very low latency for audio use, which makes sense and coincides with exactly what Andrew was saying. Rather than going to the hub and out, it goes more directly. So,
okay,
it would lower latency for sure.
Yeah, just check that on the chat too. So, do you have to keep an eye on that when you're actually in a meeting, don't you? That the chat's on all the time. I don't leave it sitting on. I just go down when I.
Okay, Tom, I heard you lay your headset down.
Okay, now is my internal mic working?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. So is there any questions you have now that you can actually talk to us?
Not at the moment. Let me make you bigger again.
Yeah. That.
So with mine, I'm still seeing the screen share. Is that because you've not stopped screen share?
Yeah, that's because we hadn't stopped the screen share yet. I was keeping it up in case anybody had any questions about it or anything. So I can stop that. And now we are back to that.
Oh, yeah. So that's gallery view, speaker view. What's the difference? Oh, yeah. I don't check that very often.
Yeah, I like gallery view. It's just I like to see everybody, at one thing.
Yeah.
One class. And now that I found out about opening up chat and the participants view at the same time, I really like that because every time it puts your participants at the top and your chat at the bottom, and I can see everybody and
lost in gallery.
Yeah, and if they wander off and start watching something else after 30 seconds, a little clock's going to appear, and I can say, come back here, pay attention to me,
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that completely by accident. Of course, I told Michael about it. He says, "You didn't know that? I've been doing that all the time." I said, "Well, I wish you would have told me." You know?
Well, I'm skipping through finding out things each time that I come on. That's why I don't mind being on and not really having anything to ask. By sitting and listening.
Yeah. I told him, I said, we're going to have to get together and compare notes and see exactly which one of us knows what, because you may know more things that I don't know about that I haven't found yet, you know. But
Oh, good.
yeah.
Well, thank you for what you do, Andrew. But I'd better get hooking off and doing other stuff now since there's so much to catch up on.
Okay. Well, thank you for attending, and, you know, drop by Thursday when we do it, just in case you get caught up with something and have a question.
Yeah, well, I plan to.
Okay.
Hopefully that works out right. Thanks. See you guys.
Take care.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, gentlemen, is there any sense in keeping this recording going?
Probably not, no.
I don't think so. All right, we're going to stop the recording.